Good evening, good afternoon, evening. As you can see, the background is different. I am in East Texas with family. All is well, but just needed to check on a few things. Wanted to make sure that we got to you today. Travel always makes it difficult, but we are here, so please come on in and speak. I know it's a little later than normal, but hopefully you will be watching and that you will share and come speak and let me know you're here. Hi, Britt. Good to see you. Well, today we are going to talk about what it means to embrace unbecoming. Doesn't mean that we're somehow going to be acting in a particular way that is not becoming of those of us who are Christian, but it's about unbecoming what people expect of you. Many of us live our lives with the expectations of others paramount to our existence. We want to be what everyone expects us to be, and in doing so, we lose something that is valuable, and that's ourselves. Hi, Sister Benson. Good to see you. So embracing unbecoming means that we've got to embrace undoing the tricks, the mental tricks that get put on us, the mental bondage that gets placed on us when people want you to be what they think you should be. I was remembering that Palmer Parker, one of my favorite authors, Parker Palmer, one of my favorite authors, said that when his granddaughter was 2, he wrote her a letter and wrote everything that she loved, everything she didn't like, everything she gravitated to, all the things that made up her existence, her favorite foods, all of those things. And he put it in a letter to be opened on her 21st birthday because he understood the power of the pressure to become. Hey, Alex. The pressure to become what people wanted her to become. Hey, Amy. And so, one of the things that we must guard against is losing our authentic selves in order to be what others expect. We have one audience for how we live our lives, and that's God and who God created us to be. And when we're not authentic to whom God created us to be, we become someone else. And like that scripture says, we walk away from the mirror and we don't recognize who we are. And so we've got to be very careful that we don't lose ourselves in becoming someone we are not. One of the things that I think is very important for us to understand is that, there is a saying, theological saying that says that theology is faith seeking understanding. Well, I want us to know that God desires the depth of who we are, not someone we've become because we thought that was what someone wanted of us. But first of all, we can't walk in that with authenticity. We can't do it consistently. We're going to fail every time because when you try to become something that you are not, when it comes from a place of disingenuousness, we will find ourselves not being able to keep up the facade. Nobody needs someone who can't be true to who they are. So I want us to understand that who we have to be in this time, in this season of life and living, because the world is so crazy. We've got to not get caught up in their issues. And in order to not do that, we got to authentically know who we are. And we've got to walk in that authenticity. We've got to walk in the freedom of it, and we've got to surrender to it. Went to a women's conference this weekend. Those of you who know anything about Women Evolve, and I've never been before. But if I tell you, it absolutely blew my mind and absolutely gave me the opportunity to be authentically me in worship, authentically me in that space, because I was not bogged down with people who knew me and who had expectations of me. And the freedom that brought me is something that I'm not willing to give back up. So as you see me, as you see things that I'm doing, don't say, what's going on with her? You now know that walking in my authenticity, walking in who I know God has called me to be, cannot be put in a box that is only the expectations of others. You can expect all you want to, but do not get it twisted. You will get me as she becomes whom God would have her to be, not who people want, because people will mess you up every time. So our lives must be faith-seeking authenticity. We got to walk in our faith, but we got to do it with authenticity. When we do it with anything other than authenticity, we will find ourselves caught up in a web of deceit, and we will be so unaware of who we are that people will be able to open up our heads and pour in anything, and we'll believe it because we lost ourselves along the way. When we were growing up, Mama said, tell the truth, right? Tell the truth, because a lie is always going to get caught. You know why a lie always gets caught? Because you can't keep up a lie. You can't keep up a lie. You can't keep living a lie. Eventually, life is going to slap you hard enough that authenticity is going to show up. That's right, Stephanie. Can't nobody beat you being you. And here's the good thing about all that. The most important thing about it. God designed you for a specific purpose, for a specific reason, and to be you and you alone. And when we're not ourselves, I say this to you all the time, when we're not ourselves, then the world and God is missing in this world that authentic person that God placed here for purpose. And it goes undone because nobody can do you but you. So embrace unbecoming what folk want you to be, and embrace becoming all God designed you to be. Because when we unbecome, then we allow ourselves the space to hear God show us how to be ourselves, how to use what God has given us with an authenticity that cannot be tarnished. Be who you are. Grow in that, yes. Be the best you can be, yes. Grow up in who you are, yes. Do all of that. But discard, surrender all of that stuff that somebody else tried to place on you in order for you to be what made them comfortable. We must stop being uncomfortable in the skin that God gave us to make somebody else comfortable in their lives. Now, don't go away from here saying, I said don't do for people. I didn't say that. I said it's nothing wrong with doing for others, but there is something wrong with trying to become what somebody else wants you to be. Hey, Amy, I'm glad you're here. And everybody else, Stephanie and Sunshine and my Joy, I see you. That's right, Amy. You can't want other folks' baggage. Be real. That's right, Miss Benson. Be genuine. Keep your authenticity polished, ready. Because the doors that God is opening for your life, God is not opening for fake you. God is opening for authentic you. When God opens that door and fake you walks in, it's not going to be a blessing. But when God opens the door and authentic you walks in, everyone will know that they've been in the presence of the masterpiece that God designed us to be. And it doesn't matter whether it comes the way you thought it would or the way somebody else told you it might be. People prophesy on you all the time. Make sure you discern it. Make sure you know that it really comes from God. And then walk in that space with the authenticity that is you. And when you finish walking in it, you look around and see how God is going to bless. God's going to bless what you do. God's going to bless where you are. God's going to bless who you are on the inside. Stop wrestling with that inside part of you that wants to be somebody else. Whomever you are, love that person because that's who God designed you to be. Embrace unbecoming someone you are not and embrace becoming authentically who you are. And be encouraged. Thank you all for coming. Please share. Some of you have really strong platforms. I'm grateful for you sharing. And as you share, more and more people get to understand what this kind of encouragement is like. I'm not trying to blow up. I'm just trying to help some folk live their lives better. Whatever God does, I'll receive and I'll walk in being authentically who God designed me to be. And I want you, my encouragement for you is to do the same. Be authentically you, embrace unbecoming, and be encouraged. See you soon.